4-H kids. And egg production is one of the projects that she has done. And so the duck eggs are the larger eggs here. And of course, the chicken eggs are come in many colors, depending on the breed of chicken. You've got the Aracanas and the Americanas that lay blue eggs. And you've got a lot of breeds that lay brown eggs or white eggs. And so I have a little of all of that. And I have all sizes of ducks. I have what's called a bantam duck, which is a small duck. And I have large Peking ducks, breasted ducks, a medium Australian spotted duck. And so those are some of the things that are here on the farm. And when I raise them, I have 3 barns here. And I have an acre pond. So the baby ducks, are not allowed on that pond until they're at least 2 to 3 months old. So my 3rd barn has a free-range pen with swimming pools inside it. And that's where the babies stay till they're old enough to go on the pond. I don't allow them on the pond before that because the snapping turtles and the catfish will eat them as babies. So they don't get to go out on the pond until they're about this size. And then I release them, and the mama takes care of them out there, and they can swim. But if you were to go to Tractor Supply or another poultry store and buy a baby duck that came from an incubator, that baby duck cannot swim till it gets its oil gland in at about 14 days. And so you do have to have a swimming pool that's got like a brick in it so they can get out of it and they don't drown in it because they don't have the oil to swim with yet. But a baby that's hatched and raised by his mother has the oil from going in and out underneath its mom. And so it's very easy to take care of a duck that's raised by its mom because you can just let it out whenever it's old enough and let it go. And I'm going to put this one down because I think you've had just about enough of me holding you. Yes, that's true. All right, well, I'm going to let you go find your mama. Do you know where she's at? You do? Okay. There you go. Let's see if you can find mommy. Oh, and you can see the baby will call and call and call until mama answers. And mama's standing over there listening, and she's quacking. So she's going to come up here and she's going to find her baby. And then she'll bring him back to the barn in a little bit. But you can see in the background, back there, I've got the Royal Palm turkey hen. And Mr. Tom's coming up behind us here. And he's sounding off. And I like to go out every day and just collect feathers because out here in the yard, it's an Easter egg hunt every day. So you can collect eggs, you can collect feathers, and the quills off of the turkeys make great writing pens. So if you want to make your own quill pen to write with, basically just come out, I'll give you a couple of quills and you can make your own pen. One of the things I do while the babies are little is I will feed them mealworms. Now these are dried mealworms, and I will feed them in the pens until I release them. And then when they go to the pond and I want them to come in, all I have to do, and I just toss these out and they'll start coming. And I can call them off the pond sometimes by just saying, come on, baby bees, come on, baby bees. And here they all come running. So you can see all of them running up here. Come on, baby bees. But this is how I get them in at night. Oh, well, come on, babies. But all of the chickens and the turkeys and the geese go in at night. Not all of the ducks come in at night. Some ducks stay on the pond. I know you didn't get any. And yes, I have some baby chickens here still. Do you want these? But they like the mealworms, and it's an easy way. If you've got a 4-H project and you want to make sure that your chickens and your ducks and turkeys are social. Feeding them mealworms as about 3-month-olds is a good way to socialize them, get them used to you, and get them to come around. So it also makes it easier for me to go in the barn, because if I want to lock them up tonight, I just walk in the barn with this canister, and they will follow me right in the barn. I do have some babies that are inside barn 1 right here. That I'm bring me one of the babies. I'm gonna bring one of the babies out. What are the babies ducks? So these baby ducks tend to hide nests from you. But it was a chicken that hid the nest, and she actually hatched 2 baby chickens, and then she left the baby duck eggs behind. Baby chickens will hatch in 21 days. Baby ducks will hatch in 28 days. So leaving the nest behind, it still stayed warm enough that these baby ducks were hatching all on their own, and I found them yesterday. And so now they're in a cage where I can make sure that they have water and they have feed, but they kind of got orphaned because Mama Chicken didn't want to raise baby ducks. She started the hatching process, but she didn't choose to finish it. So there's 5 of those little babies that actually hatched on their own after the chicken left the nest. But I've had here on the farm turkeys that raise ducks. I've had chickens who raise ducks. I've had ducks who raise chickens. And believe it or not, they imprint. So the first thing that the baby sees, that's its mama, and it will follow that duck or chicken around. The duck that the turkey hatched was taller than the turkey by the time it was grown, but they still stayed bonded together. So that was kind of a fun fact as far as how the ducks and turkeys and chickens will all hatch each other's eggs. And a really lazy chicken, she'll put her eggs in the duck nest, and she'll let the duck hatch the chicks. And same way with the ducks. And this is one of my crested ducks. So if you haven't seen a crested duck before, cresteds have a little pom-pom on their head, and they are really social. There you go. So I'll get you to come back because I'll feed you some more. But the crested ducks are one of my favorite ones. But the big white Peking ducks are good egg layers. So I make noodles and I make cakes and I fry the eggs and use them just about in everything. It doesn't matter whether it's turkey egg, a duck egg, or a chicken egg. Duck eggs are a little richer and the white's a lot clearer than a chicken egg. And so I can tell the duck egg from the chicken egg really easily. So I find it a fun hobby. Expensive to feed sometimes. I feed layer pellets and I feed whole corn. So I can get off a little less expensive if I throw out whole corn every day versus throwing out pellets every day. So maybe you can probably see some of the ducks coming out. Come on, babies. Come on, babies. I'm gonna. So I change water every day. Up here, there's fresh water. Sometimes your pond, if you have a pond's been sour on you. And so I always make sure that I have fresh water up here by the barns for the ducks, because not everybody wants to go down to the pond. And I change that water out on a daily basis. Same way with the water that's in the swimming pool area. I change that out every other day versus every day. But the main thing ducks and chickens and turkeys, any poultry need, is their water. The feed is important also, but if you're just doing free range like I do, then you can throw the corn, whole corn in. I do not do cracked corn. Sometimes cracked corn on your smaller ducks can cut the gullet. And so I learned that early on when we had some very small bantam ducks, and I was losing a few here and there, and I was told by one of our poultry judges at a national show that you don't want to feed cracked corn necessarily to the ducks. So I started feeding whole corn, and it doesn't matter what size the duck is, they can eat the whole corn, and everybody kind of likes it. So if we want to walk down and take a look at the swimming pool area, this I consider barn 1, barn 2, and barn 3. And barn 3 has most of the young ducks in it that I don't want to release quite yet. And most of the babies stay up here in barn 1. They're going to follow me because it's like, you have food. You have a red container. So, hi, baby. Hi, girls. So, we have a Peking and a crescent, and we've got a duck in here that's got what's called angel wing. And angel wing is feathers on the wing that, because of a vitamin deficiency at a baby's age, that wing stays out. It will never group up back up. And so it's called angel wing, and she cannot fly. Most of these heavier ducks do not fly. Your little snowy call duck is your white speckled one, and then you have your mallard, and then you have your Australian spotted. So you can throw another handful into them, but you can see how much they love the mealworms. And I have a brick on the far side. They have a platform they can get out on. There's a brick in there that is there because if I get a small duck that happens to get into the pool, he won't be able to get out, and he'll panic and he'll drown. So I always put a brick walkway where the smaller ducks can go over and they can get up on that brick and get out of the pool. Was that a nice treat, guys? Yeah. Let's go on down and take a look at the pond. We'll see if we can call any of the other babies up to the pond. Are you girls still waiting for more mealworms? Come here, baby. Come over here, come on, babies. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. But you see, they're so used to having mealworms. They know what this red container represents. And all the babies are going to come in. Come on, babies. There's probably about 100 ducks here. There's some fawn and white runner ducks. There's white runner ducks. So we have all kinds of different varieties of ducks here. The Australian spotteds, the Pekings, and the so it's a water frenzy. So do we have any questions out there now?
So can chickens swim or not? Like,
no, the chickens cannot swim. Now the turkey has an air pocket in the front of his breast, and actually if he would go into the water and he would inhale, he can actually float, but the chickens cannot swim. So we'll give the chickens some more mealworms up here on the bank.
how do you keep them safe from predators, like from coyotes?
Well, the chickens go in every night. I do lose some chickens to owls, some to hawks, and some to a fox. I haven't had the coyotes on my property yet. And during the day, there's no real way to protect them. I am fenced all the way around, but I still have had the fox right here in this spot, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. But at night, everybody that wants to go in the barn goes in the barn. We force the chickens and the turkeys into the barn and lock them up at night. And I do, each one of my barns has wire and cinder blocks, concrete blocks all the way around them and even in the doorway. Because I had a mink who actually burrowed under a door and went in and killed everything in the barn. So every barn that I have has cinder block and wire around the outside of it. Do you have a problem at your farm with coyotes?
Well, we see them out back sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have chickens, but we like see them and hear them at night.
Well, and everybody has to eat. So they will come in, and I've lost quite a few ducks. Mostly, like I said, to the fox, because when they have their babies, they've got to feed their babies. And doesn't make me happy, but I do kind of understand, the need for him to feed too. So,
I was wondering,
more.
do all of your birds get along, and is there like any sort of hierarchy? Like, is there like alpha bird and like a
well,
especially
like in the turkeys, because we had to lock 3 of the male turkeys up because they are always fighting and they want to dominate. So the ducks are the same way. They will establish their little brood, and they'll think, well, this is my hen, and they'll protect her. I don't have roosters here now, mostly because the roosters are very dominant, and sometimes they're not really nice. So I only have hens here on the farm, and that's all I need for the egg production. Now with the geese, the pilgrim geese have finally come up. The 2 white ones are the ganders, and the gray one is the goose, and they can get a little bit territorial, but not super territorial. When it comes to the geese breeds, the pilgrim is one of the most docile of the geese. I've had geese that were very territorial that would drown my ducks, and I have one duck. If you try to adopt a duck or a chicken and you try to put it in a flock during the day, it won't be accepted. And I have 2 ducks actually that were rescue ducks that for some reason the ducks will not accept into the flock, and I have to keep them in a separate pen. They get to free range out in the pool area, but if I turn them loose, usually they'll get attacked. So there is always dominance there, and I just try to make sure everybody that is added in at night, so they don't see them. They don't know that they're different, but there is a dominance there. Any other questions? There's
What-
an
What do you do in the winter?
Well, in the winter, you see the fountain that's going out there. That fountain is kept running all winter long, so that this area right over here stays unthawed, and that allows them a swimming area. And then, of course, they will still free range in the snow. The chickens and the ducks will come out, and they will free range all over. It doesn't matter if it's snowing or how cold it is. They want to come out every day. And then every night, they can go back in the barns. Like I said, there's 3 barns here. There's plenty of room for everybody who wants to go in. And but this fountain keeps this unthawed all winter long. So, but I've got some really pretty pictures of the ducks and the stuff down here in the snow. Snow can be 4 inches deep, and they'll go down the little path that I make for them, and they'll get to the water. So good question.
Do you know like how many eggs you get a day?
Each chicken or each duck will lay 1 egg a day. And with this flock, I will get about 12.5 duck eggs and about 2.5 dozen chicken eggs. because not everybody's laying. Some are too young to lay, some are too old to lay. And the ducks typically, their egg production is in the spring, and because of the layer pellets I feed, they are still laying, and they may lay clear into the fall. But winter, they kind of slow down to where there's not much egg production.
Do you keep like heaters in the barns with the animals?
There are heat lamps in the barn. I use doggy waterers that you plug in to keep the water unthawed in the barns. And then I have heat lamps. I drop about 3 heat lamps into each barn, and that kind of gives them a warm place to stay. But the ducks don't typically need that. They have enough body warmth that they do fine. It's more for the chickens, because the chickens have a comb on top of their head that can freeze in the winter. And to actually help with egg production, I keep a light on all night long, and that keeps egg production up in the winter, because summer they will lay because they get enough sunlight. Winter, they need more light, so I keep a barn light on at night in the winter so that they keep laying. And they have plenty of straw and sawdust. The barns are all bedded really heavily with sawdust and straw for warmth also. So. Do we have another cat question?
Oh, do any of them like fly? Like the turkey, or
The turkeys are heritage turkeys. They're called royal palms, and he can actually fly on top of my house. He won't fly any distance, but he can fly to the top of the house. He can fly up into a tree. He can fly over the fences, but they don't fly any distance. The chickens are the same way. They can fly over the fence. They can fly up. There's ducks flying in. But some of the ducks, the heavy breed ducks don't fly. Their bodies are too heavy. But all of the Australian spotteds and all of the mallards do fly. And this time of night, there will be maybe 50 to 75 wild mallards who fly in just to eat the corn that I put out on the mat. So, but everybody in the pond on this side pretty much can fly. But you get the heavy ducks, and they cannot fly. Their bodies are too heavy. So, good question. And the runner duck over there, he can't fly either because he's a runner duck, and he stands up like a pencil, and he doesn't have the right body carriage to actually fly. So, but he does run really quickly.
Do you have a favorite bird, Chris?
I think, to me, that I like the cresteds. I like the little pom-pom on their head, and they're just kind of a sweet duck. And so I'm kind of fond of the crested ducks. So that's my favorite one to show. Now, my daughter's favorite one was the runner duck. And she won nationals, the Gold Cup trophy at nationals with the runner duck. And so that was her favorite duck. But Leah's favorite duck. What's your favorite duck, Leah? I don't know. They're all cute. They're all cute. But yours was an Australian spotted. So, and Australian spotteds are interesting mostly because when they hatch in 5 colors. They can have a gray head, they can have a green head, they can have a blue head. The hens will be a buffy yellow, a really pretty yellow. I don't like this little girl over here. So, I don't know. I like all of them. And the little call ducks are very personable. All my little call duck hens are in the barn nesting on eggs right now and getting ready to hatch. But they will typically come around your feet and they'll quack at you and like, I want in the barn. So you have to open the door and let them in. Or they just kind of talk to you like they tell you what they want and what they need. So they're kind of fun too. So I guess I'm not sure I have a favorite. And my daughter, who started this project for 4-H and FFA, She's 31 now. And so she kind of said, they're all yours now, Mom. Do whatever you want with them. And but she did manage to get her 4-H state degree and her FFA American degree raising poultry and selling poultry. So that's what Leah's going to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leah shows poultry and 4-H, but her birds are bantams, right?
Well, we only have 3 games. But yeah.
So, and the difference between these are standard chickens that are out here, and the bantams are just a smaller, easier to handle breed for smaller kids. So, yeah. So not as hard to handle. And the fancy turkeys are fun to show. I mean, this guy doesn't have his tail feathers, but when he did, he was champion at the county fair 2 years. So, but when you have somebody different on the farm, they turn bright red in their face and bright blue in their head, and they strut. It's like, this is my place, and you're an intruder. So the old Vader family's helping me today, but he doesn't understand that. He just thinks that they've come to invade his space. So
Did you want to show the nesting duck?
sure, we can go back to barn 1 and we'll take a look at the ducks that are the duck that's nesting.
I have a question.
Yes.
You
What's your
said that once in a while you get wild ducks or wild geese when you put the corn out.
Uh-huh.
Are they like nice? Well, or will they keep their distance?
They will keep their distance from me, but they will join in my flock, and they don't attack my flock in any way. They just come to eat, and then they usually fly out. They come twice a day. They come like 8 o'clock in the morning to eat. Then they'll fly out to wherever they came from, and they'll come back this time in the evening. So this time in the evening, you can just actually stand out here and watch them fly in and land. And but they don't do any damage, or they don't bother the other ducks at all. So we'll go in here and take a look at the babies in here. They're set in the nest, and this is a little Australian spotted, and her eggs are blue, and oh, she's going to show you her eggs.
And Chris,
So you can
I
see
think
she
your
has 1,
camera
2, 3,
froze.
4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. Okay, that's because we walked in the barn, so I think we'll have to walk back out of the barn. Now, did it come back on?
Yeah, you're back.
Are we back?
Mhm.
Okay. And that's the thing with my barns. They've got metal roofs and they've got sunroofs in them. But usually when I walk into them with the phone, they will die on me. But we have a little Australian spotted nest back here. And so she has eggs that she's sitting on, and because we came in, she went out. And of course our babies, that they're all in here. So, are you sleeping? So these are just a couple of our babies. It's bedtime. So we're just, and it's about time to turn on the heat lamp. They have a heat lamp, and so I have to plug it in. And it plugs in back here. So it's warm enough in this barn that they don't need the heat lamp during the day, but they need it at night. So it's up really high so they don't get too hot. But yeah. I was afraid that when we went in the barn, we'd lose everybody, but you can kind of take a peek, I think, even that direction without losing too much. So you can see they've got straw in there. And the barrels that you see are 2 feed barrels, and I have a water barrel just like it. So even in the winter, I have rain barrels in the building that I keep heaters in. And the sunroof lets plenty of light in there. But they get to come and go from this barn all day long. Do we have another question?
They're really cute.
Oh, thank you. Well, if you need a pet, just let me know, and we can find you a pet out here. I'm pretty sure. Have you picked out one that you really think you'd like to have?
I like the chicken.
You like one of the chickens? Well, there's a lot of little chickens out here, baby chickens. We can fix you right up. And then we can enter you at the county fair in our poultry department. So you can even join the Blanchard Valley Poultry Association. Be part of our group. We're a fun group, let me tell you. There's nothing more fun than showing a bird. So, and baby geese are fun too. I mean, as a baby geese, they'll groom your hair and they'll sit in your lap. Won't say they won't go to the bathroom on you because they will, but they are a lot of fun. And all the babies are just fun to play with and socialize with. Any more
Yeah.
questions?
When it floods, if it floods the pond, do they still go out and swim?
If it floods the pond, do they still go out?
Oh, absolutely. They still. I have had the water come all the way up and in their barn, and they just swim out of the barn and still go to the pond. And so it really doesn't matter with the ducks. Now the chickens don't like to walk through the water, but the ducks, they just swim in and out. Doesn't bother them how high the pond gets. They go in the water no matter what. So yeah. They're all really starting to settle down, like they're ready to go to sleep. They've had their nap. Several of them are just settling in. So, and I usually lock everybody in the barns just about 8:30 at night because most of the chickens go in on their own. They like to roost up on the top of things. And some of the baby chickens, they kind of need a little encouragement to go in. They don't understand the danger of being out at night. But see, I guess we found our mama. So baby has to go in at night. So
Around what time they have to get up, like morning?
well, they will be up the minute it gets light outside. They will start cackling, and the ducks and the geese will start sounding off. The males have a real raspy voice. The hens have a real quacky voice, and they'll start sounding off when it's daylight. They want out of the barn and they want to get to go free ranging. And so, yeah, the minute it's light, they want out of the barn. So, and the minute it's dark, all the chickens go in. The ducks don't. They just, some of them choose to go in, some do not. But, you know. Got a bumble. Yeah. Any more questions? So do you think you want to raise ducks or chickens after seeing my farm? Or turkeys or geese?
Well, can you do it if you live in an apartment? Because I live in an apartment. Like, I would love to have them, but
Well, I will tell you what. You don't get a small Bantam call duck because they quack all the time. But if you get a big one, they could share your bathtub and swim in your bathtub with you. And you can actually diaper them. There's a book, How to Diaper a Duck. And so you can get away with doing that. Not going to say it won't get smelly after a while, but sometimes it's just kind of nice to raise them and then find somebody who has a pond and let them go. I've done that before. I've adopted a few ducks that people tried to raise in their apartments, but it's really not highly recommended. Yeah. It's nice out here in my day.
It is.
All kinds of action. So, but yeah. Yeah, they're still looking for handouts. So I don't know. You want to come up here and let me touch you? Can you? No. No. Oh, maybe. Let's see. No, not that one. I'm gonna let you pick them up, but not all of them. And you can see some of the chickens are losing their feathers because they do molt twice a year. They will just drop their feathers and get new feathers in. And so, you got one. This is an Isa brown, and they lay nice brown eggs, and they have really pretty wings. She goes, but you're holding me. And this is the comb I was talking about, that if they don't have a heat lamp in the winter, this can freeze. It doesn't hurt them in any way, but if you will want to show them, it would be a disqualification or a fault. But you can see, because I have heat lamps in, they have really good, they have good combs and good wattles. And down we go. Yeah, not too many of them like to be held for very long. Yeah. So, well, I don't know where she went. Yes.
Do the chicks often follow the moms?
The chicks will follow the moms around, and now if they're baby chicks that came out of an incubator, they will usually follow me around. But baby ducks and baby chickens stay right with their mom all the time when they're outside. When they get a little older, 2 months, 3 months old, they will stray and go off on their own. But basically, they stay pretty close to mom. They feel safer that way. So. And you can see, that's a barred rock back there. She had the Colombian rock out a while ago, but the one going in the barn is a barred rock. And we have the Americanas and Aracanas. Yeah, the Americana comes in a lot of different colors, and she's over there. She's kind of a gray and buff color. And then you've got the Buff Orpingtons, which are more of the golden color. And I really like the Buff Orpingtons. They're a really nice chicken too. So they're good egg layers. Yeah, that's right. So, but if you want blue eggs or green eggs or kind of almost pinkish eggs, you need the Americana or the Araucana. They call them the Easter egger because their eggs are really pretty colors. So I think we had one in the carton that was kind of the, yeah, a couple of them. So that's kind of from the Americana. So real pretty colors. And they can get bright blue or kind of pinkish color. And so, but yeah, the Red Island Reds, the Isa Browns, the Buff Orpingtons, they all lay the brown eggs. I don't have anything out here that lays the white eggs except the ducks. And the white leghorns would lay a white egg. When the Colombians get bigger, they will lay a white egg. And it's, yeah, but the runner duck lays a blue egg and the mallard duck lays a blue egg. So even the ducks, depending on what breed they are, lay a different colored egg. So, and she's molting her feathers. So.
Do duck eggs, like, can you eat them? Like, I don't know what you do with duck eggs.
Well, you eat duck eggs just like you eat chicken eggs. And I have a family that actually, the kids are allergic to chicken eggs, but they can eat duck eggs. There is a total difference in the cholesterol in a duck egg and a chicken egg, but you can make noodles out of them. You can bake cakes with them. Same way the turkey egg. They're a little different. The chicken egg, the white of the chicken egg is almost a yellowish color, where the duck egg is very crystal clear. And I can even tell when I candle. That means I use a flashlight and I look in the egg to see the clarity of it. I can tell from the shell, the duck egg's much smoother than the chicken egg, and the chicken egg's a little rougher. So by candling them, I can actually tell which they are, duck or chicken. But all of them are edible.
Do they taste like different or do they taste the
Well,
same?
To me, the duck egg's a little sweeter tasting than the chicken egg. And with that said, the yolks on because these are free range chickens, they get a lot of sunlight, and free range ducks, their yolks are almost orange colored. Instead of being a pale color, they're almost an orangish color. So there is definitely a difference. There's a lot of people, a lot of kids who prefer the free range eggs, and then there's kids who prefer store-bought eggs, just because there's more flavor to a free range egg than there is to a store-bought egg. So yeah, but they're all edible.
I've tried homemade chicken eggs because our neighbors used to have like ducks and chickens, and one time they gave us a batch.
Oh, okay. So did you find it different?
Yeah, it tasted better homemade than like store bought.
I'm not sure if they had ducks or if they had like a different kind of, or they may have had ducks and they sold them or something.
Okay. Yeah, because you if you didn't know that one was a duck egg and the other was a chicken egg, you wouldn't really know the difference. You wouldn't tell the difference. It's more basically if you know in your mind that, hey, that's a duck egg, that's a chicken egg, you might think it tastes different just because your mind tells you it's different, but they taste very much the same. I had some of my kids at the Park District. We do Pioneer Days, and so I gave them a choice. Do you want to try duck eggs or do you want to try chicken eggs? And they wanted to try the duck eggs, and they ate all of them. They preferred the duck eggs over the chicken eggs, and so that was kind of an interesting kind of scenario. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Do turkeys lay any kind of like edible eggs, or do they just lay eggs for their babies, or?
No, turkey eggs are edible. I have people who like to make noodles, especially out of turkey eggs. And actually, I can show you a turkey egg. Trying to think. Let me go in the refrigerator in here in the shop, and I'll bring one out. You're a baby. You're a baby. So this is the turkey egg, and I know it's a turkey egg because it's very pointed and it's speckled. So it looks quite a bit different than the chicken and duck egg, especially the shape of it. And but inside it looks exactly the same and it tastes the same. But see the difference in size? It's much larger. And I didn't have a goose egg in there. I was going to bring a goose egg out, but the goose egg would fill my whole hand. And I've never eaten the goose egg, so I'm not sure what the goose egg would taste like. But it's an egg, so it too would be edible. My grandson used to raise guineas, and they ate the guinea eggs all the time. They were really little and took a lot of them to make scrambled eggs out of, but they even ate the guinea eggs. So, hi, little guy. See, this is going to be a hen, because all the Australian spotted girls are blonde colored. So blondes have more fur. So yeah, she's a cutie. And she's going to be tiny. The Australian spotted only gets to weigh just about 4.5 pounds. So they stay really small, but they're very boisterous. I mean, even as adults, they're always quacking and sounding off. You talk to us, yeah. And they don't like being separated from their siblings at all. Once they're part of a group as babies, they do not like to separate out, and they get really upset, and they sound off until you put them back together. So, but that baby's only 2 days old, so this is her second day, and that she already knows I want to be with my siblings. Looks like they're all back in a corner, all cozied up, going to bed. So, and all the chickens are starting to go to the barn. You can see them kind of meandering in because the sun's going down and it's starting to get dark. And so they'll meander in and they'll start roosting. And they usually lay their eggs first thing in the morning. And then by noon, I can go out and collect eggs and wash eggs. And yeah, this one's more likely a male because, hold on tight, Ginger. Because see the dark head on him? And he's got dark going down his back. So this one's probably going to end up a male Australian spotted. It's still very noisy. Yes. So. But you know, there were ducks in the barn that could have mothered these babies, but because they didn't set on the nest and they didn't hatch the babies, they wouldn't accept the babies. They just ignored them and ran from them. So it's kind of strange how they know whether they're their mom or they're not their mom. So, yeah. Any other questions? Well, I guess, are you going to have eggs for supper tonight? I might have eggs and bacon and enjoy that as a late night snack. So. You could take the turkey eggs home and hatch them. You can put them in the incubator. They incubate in about 31 days. So it takes a little longer to hatch a turkey egg in an incubator than it does ducks or chickens. So, and my hen, she hasn't decided to set on her nest. Because with ducks, turkeys, chickens, any of your poultry, they will lay 1 egg in their nest each day until they've laid somewhere between 7 and 12 eggs. And then they'll come back and they'll sit on the nest constantly until they hatch. But they don't sit on the nest and warm all the eggs up until they have as many eggs as they want to have babies. And then they actually sit there and stay on the nest. So if you've got a wild nest out around your house and you see 1 or 2 eggs and you think the mom is gone, it's just because she won't sit on that nest until she has laid as many eggs as she wants to hatch. So that's kind of a fact that not too many people know. They just think the mom sits there and lays eggs, but she doesn't sit on them and stay on them until she is ready to hatch them. Do we have any more questions?
Well, thank you, Chris. Oh, is there one more question?
Well, I'm glad you could all come out and visit the farm. And hopefully you'll visit us at the fair.
They're all cute, all the chickens, and ducks and turkeys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Do you live here in Findlay?
Yep.
Okay. So maybe someday you'll want to come out and visit the farm in person. Of course,
Yeah.
to do that, I also require you to scoop the horse stalls, because there are 2 horses out front, and clean up after a few of the chickens. So if you come to visit, there are chores to do. Right?
No. Yeah.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I think we're probably going to wrap it up there. I just wanted to say again, thank you so much, Chris. I really enjoyed seeing all of your birds. I have like always wanted like a little pet chicken, so this was really enjoyable for me.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like I said, come and visit us. Even if it's at the fair, we can get them out of the cages at the fair and you can pet them. So thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you guys, and thank you for coming.
Bye.
Bye.